Okay. Just in here, I use my drawers, shelves, extra stuff. I'm here to just record a quick reaction right now. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about D&D's. It's time. Everybody, Gen Con just happened, Comic Con just happened, and we're just dealing right now with the aftermath of all this, and frankly, a couple of things need to be addressed. Talking about Gen Con more. Frankly, Comic Con seemed pretty bland. I didn't go to Gen Con. I'm just looking at the coverage for Comic Con. Mostly I just only follow Film Thread, and for Gen Con, I have a little bit of everybody, all the usual dungeon tubers I'm competing with, so here we are. Okay, so first and foremost, everybody's up in arms about how D&D is now being turned into this, oh no, we're trying to play footsie with World of Warcraft, and oh no, they're also incorporating Star Wars. Yay! The positive thing is Dark Sun's coming back. And I'm just saying, when was the last time D&D came out with an original setting, truly original, a setting based on Magic the Gathering, not a setting based on some popular franchise, not a rehash of a classic setting. My brain, I think it's Eberron, off the top of my head, for the 3rd edition version of Eberron when it was introduced. Am I right? Am I wrong? And it links to Comic Con because at the end of the day, what we're seeing now is that there's no new original intellectual property, no new IPs that are being thrown out into the D&D world or to the media world. Everything is based on a movie, that's based on a book, that's based on an old comic book, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's sitting there saying, you know what, it happens, but it's in the indies right now, and you know a mile away when there's a hot new property that everybody wants. Like right now, the big thing is Dungeon Crawler Carl, and they already have their own TTRPG coming out, which is great. I mean, it's great that they're doing it. I don't know if it's great yet. I played it, read it, touched it, tried to build a character with it, but it's out there. It exists. It exists. So yeah, basically, it's kind of like this corporate death of originality. I don't think it's really can be just simply explained by one factor. You know, one thing is corporations by default are actually, the bigger they are, the more skittish they are because they have more to lose. So they want, tried and true stuff. The other thing is businesses thrive on systemization. By that I mean what they're trying to do is create a standard process where they can just take an item, stamp out the widget, exit out the widget. It's a mechanistic ambition that every large business corporation has. Part of it is to make it more profitable, but a lot of it has to do more with, I don't know, I will say maybe a little more of, I can't tell you, I'm right with that. Personally, I've been having a lot of problems, just stuff happening. My dad's been ill. It's just running back and forth to the hospital, it seems every 5 minutes. I can't stay there very long. There's no point in me staying there very long, really. My dad's been very sleepy. But yeah. So yeah, personal note aside, we've been dealing with corporations that just want something that you can, bring raw material in, stamp it out, shoot it out. No skill required, no thought required. And when it comes to content, you can't really do that. What you do is you recycle. And Hollywood's been saying that they've been recycling ideas before. The old joke is there's no new story in Hollywood. Everything's recycled. It's true. To a certain extent. Yes, Pretty Woman and My Fair Lady are both based on the myth of Pygmalion. You're not going to fucking tell me they're the same movie. And Hasbro, for all intents and purposes, is part of the entertainment industry. Broadly speaking, they only make products to entertain you. That's the only use they have. Whether it's a physical toy, a Magic the Gathering card, a D&D movie, or a Transformers movie, G.I. Joe movie. Have you noticed? toy, there's a pathway Hasbro has. It starts as a physical toy, then it goes into maybe other IPs, comic books, cartoons, and it's all another old school corporate buzzword, synergistic. Say it right? I don't know. It's all part of the common synergy. Use the singular. It's supposed to. Right. This synergy just means that every product's based on other product, and they help support the sale of the other products back and forth. Like symbiosis. Yeah. Big words that mean just, rehashing the old thing, and the more you use one thing, the more you're going to like the other one because they're the same, brainwashed, blah, blah, blah. So Hasbro does that, Marvel does that. Now, Marvel has a more direct pipeline. It starts with print comics. It can go either towards video games and or movies at the same time. It is comics, video games, then, TV and movies. That was the original pipeline. And then Marvel Studios came out after both Fox and Sony was making lots of money off of licensed Marvel products. And, basically licensed means that Sony paid a chunk of money to get Spider-Man, a lot of the Spider-Man villains. That's why there's a subset of the Marvel universe called the Sony Spider-Verse. So they own Spider-Man and all the Spider-Man related characters and the villain. Fox owned, I believe, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And that was their little chunk of Marvel. So that's why when the Avengers came out, Avengers were never as big as the X-Men, I think. The X-Men in the 90s were the Avengers were more like early 80s, kind of 70s thing. X-Men were 90s, and so 90s when they really exploded. The character designs also improved. Okay, geeking out over something that's not our main geek out on this channel yet. Maybe I should talk more about comics, but I'm not a comic expert. I know a few things about D&D, but comics and some other things. I could probably talk more about European comics, or I feel more comfortable, but that's another story. Yeah, this is a vlog. I'm trying to get some of my crazy brain farts and info out to the new world. Hopefully this records right. I've been having recording issues. Whatever happens, I'm uploading it. Even if it's all at this rate, this one my CapCut chops out, fixes it, and makes sure it's not CapCut. I use CapCut. I have it. I hate using it. Opus AI. I edit on DaVinci Resolve. I have the updated full version. This monkey's thing here. This is a little gizmo that gives me condenses the keyboard a little bit. I have a lot of the shortcuts already there. And I had a free copy of the full burn-up version of Resolve, which you really don't need. The free version of Resolve is as good as the last decent version of, let's say, Apple Final Cut Pro. Oof, that brings to freaking pickles. Actually, it's not. I stopped drinking Monsters and Red Bulls and Rockstar energy drinks, so I have drinking water. Just plain water. Yeah, okay, well, I've had a health scare. My blood pressure was really high in 200s. I had to basically get back on meds. I was off meds, and at the same time I decided to kind of cut a lot of the sugary drinks out of my life and crap. I have a shit ton of Rockstars in my fridge that are staring at me. Hopefully they'll slowly get tucked in the back. I have old Guinness beers from St. Patrick's Day. My dad and I have one or two, and they're like, okay, that's nice. We don't drink much anymore. Yeah. Actually, last time we had anything good to drink was during Yom Kippur. No, we don't drink Yom Kippur. I'm talking about pretty high holidays mix. Passover. Pesach is when I must have, well, my dad's not a Jew. Can I be different? Well, my mom's Jewish. Out of her. Yeah, she's kind of complicated. Ooh, family drama. Okay. This vlog is getting increasingly personal, but I'm going to post it. Alright. Yeah, if you hear some yoga studio kind of sounds, it's because I had to relax with a disabled partner. She's really angry, and I don't know, angry is the right word. Excited, nervous, kicking and throwing. She has Huntington's disease, but it's like she can't control her movements, So I try to put, she hates it when I do this, because I turn off her TV and put on some meditation music off of YouTube, calming music, or Sound of Rain, and just let her sit there and flatten her misses. Just takes a nap. She hates me. It's like literally, and I hate it too, especially with my life partner as a toddler. This is increasing person. But this is really the real as I can on this recording. I don't know if it's working. I'm using just the basic Windows recorder. So yeah, going back to the WotC thing, I'm going to tell you something, kids. WotC always had a little strange relationship with World of Warcraft. Yeah, they had a World of Warcraft TTRPG published under the D20 license by Sword and Sorcery Studios. But it gets even better when the 3.5 edition of the third and 3.5 were like everybody's favorite little baby. But they had then a Warcraft D&D. So they said Warcraft Dungeons & Dragons, Official Dungeons & Dragons, still published by Sword and Sorcery Studios, who, by the way, also have an EverQuest Sword and Sorcery game, D20. So, Sword and Sorcery Studios, if you don't remember, were White Wolf imprint, one of their imprints for third-party games and stuff and like that. And so was Art House. I think it was one of their imprints. Art House is what they published some of the stuff for Warcraft, just plain Warcraft. So yeah, so they've been pushing out. It's not a brand new thing. Just like Star Wars, the other IP that did Nelson. Yeah, there was a D20 Star Wars. People loved it. There were video games that used the D20 feat and skill set up for D20 license, 3rd edition Star Wars. Yep, it exists. It's out there. This is nothing new. These are all things that floated in the ether, and it's bigger news, I think, Star Wars in a weird way. I think I don't hear people talk about World of Warcraft as much as it did when it happened. I've lost a woman to World of Warcraft, and no, I wasn't the player, and no, she was not. She wasn't ugly. It was a weird long-distance relationship already, but basically she started playing World of Warcraft, and she just lost interest in me until I was in town. Oh my god, this is way too much personal info. Either way, she broke my heart, but we're in good terms, because I don't have to see her. She's on the other side of the planet, literally. In bed, puts its full says, okay, no, I don't think she'll ever see that, so, yeah. Ooh-wee! So yeah, World of Warcraft, nothing new. And people are getting all up in arms and their panties in a bunch with us. I'm like, why? This is not something that we had, and then all of a sudden, it disappeared and like came back. No, this is something that's been in the freaking water for ages. And so, yeah. By the way, I'm looking at the time. It's time for me to kind of fix breakfast for my wife because she kicked it over. Take my pills because my blood pressure. Yeah, when I take blood pressure pills, this is how you know I'm a geriatric D&D aficionado. I don't know if I'm a grognard. I mean, grognard, or pronounced the proper French way, grogna. Somebody's grumbling all the time. Am I grumbling all the time? Probably. Maybe not. I try to be optimistic, face of reality. But yeah. So here we are. Bye. If you like this, comment. Feel free to comment. And have a good day.